Every single person in this world has a story to share. Your story is your superpower, and it's unique to you. In sharing it with the world, you can impact millions of people. If you keep it to yourself, you are doing the world a disservice. This is Dela. I'm the host of Dela's Voice, and I help you share your superpower with the world.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dela's Voice Sunday Live Talk Show. Thank you for joining us today. It is another blessing, another amazing gift to have this opportunity to sit here and talk to incredible people across the world, bring their stories to you in the hopes of informing you, inspiring you, and motivating you to make the changes in your own life. Today, we're talking about dreams versus purpose. Do you live for a dream or do you live for a purpose? We'll see. We're going to talk about an expert, Coach Stephon Leary. Now, you all remember Coach Stephon Leary from the last time he was on Dela's Voice, where he brought all the fantastic lessons that we had all seen in the movie The Lion King as a part of his presentation. How wonderful he explained those teachings to us. I still remember, and I smile every time I think of that experience. Everyone around me commented on that talk as one of the most engaging talks they had ever seen. So here we are again. I invited Coach Stephon Leary back on the show to get some more of his fantastic wisdom today about dreams and purpose. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Please help me welcome Coach Stephon Leary on Dela's Voice. Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Good to see you again.
Welcome back, Coach. Excellent. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being.
Such a pleasure to be with you again.
It's fantastic. It's a blessing. I look forward to this talk. The last time you were here, you just left us in awe and with so many golden nuggets. So I'm so glad you're back today.
Thank
you. So we're talking today about dreams versus purpose.
Yes.
And so why is that important?
Well, Dela, when COVID hit, I think it did a lot of things to everyone around the world. It made us all think about who we really were, what was the next step, what am I created for? Many people lost jobs, lost opportunities, and you had to really sit back and think, what is the true purpose of life? Not just your own, but how you can impact the world around you, how you can financially cope in this world, facing the adversity of COVID. And so what happened for me, as I wrote my first book, is that second book, The Elevated Soul, came flooding out of me. One of the things that came to my mind was the fulfillment of dreams versus a purpose-filled life. And the reason why that is a great question for everyone is because so many people live life discouraged or disappointed or depressed about the broken dream. But what I love most about living a life of purpose is there is purpose beyond the dream. And I think that many people get stuck or in the failure aspect of a broken dream, a dream not fulfilled, a dream not accomplished. And they feel less than themselves. And they, instead of feeling like there is something more in life for me to do beyond the dream. And the reason why it's so important is that even if you accomplish a dream in life, you must then discover the purpose of accomplishing a dream. So my challenge is to people, or to everyone, is to think the meaning of life. Is it to accomplish the dream, or is it to live a life of purpose? And so in my in this book, The Elevated Soul, yeah, you're right. I talked about you are more than what you see with my man Simba and Mufasa, Rafiki. I took it a step further and I talked about the dream, because Simba had a dream as well. He wanted to be king, but he didn't know what that looked like when he faced adversity. I take you to the scriptures. There's a story in Genesis chapter 37 of a wonderful young man named Joseph, who was the son of 12. And he told his brothers and his father that I had a dream that one day that you all would bow down to me, right? And his brothers didn't like that, like him saying that, so much so that they threw him in a pit and then sold him off to slavery. You see, what happens in life, Dela, is that people have dreams in life, but what happens is you never get to see the journey to achieving the dream. And what happens along the journey to achieving dreams in our life is that we face hiccups, pitfalls, adversity. And sometimes some people quit. And that's where people come along and say, never give up on your dream, never give up on your dream. And yes, I believe that. Never give up on your dream. However, things happen in life like they happened for me. Stephon Leary was a kid who grew up in the inner city that only knew what people in the streets told me. To get out of the hood, I had to become a professional athlete or an entertainer. No one told me I can be an author, which I've become, a 2-time author. No one told me I can be an inventor, in which I've become an inventor with a patent. No one even told me I can become a coach. I never heard those things while I was in the streets. I only heard you can, if you want to get out of the hood, you got to be the best athlete or the best entertainer. And so my dream became becoming a professional athlete. But what happened when I got to college and I started as a freshman and the dream was very much alive until that third year, my junior year, and I have a knee surgery. And this knee surgery set me back, I thought at that time. And I got back on that horse and I rode it again. I rehabbed, got stronger, bigger, better, stronger. I'm not giving up on the dream. I'm not giving up on the dream. And I didn't give up on the dream. And I came back from that injury, only to have that injury happen again. I had a second knee surgery my senior year and I didn't get to play. And I started to ask myself, what is life? What am I meant to do in this thing called life beyond what I knew about being a professional athlete? And so what I discovered in life is that God had a greater purpose beyond the dream. And that's my encouragement to everyone, is to not feel disappointed and discouraged or feel like a failure because you did not accomplish the dream. There's greater purpose beyond the dream. And what I've discovered, what COVID did for me, is help me all the gifts that I had inside of me that I never knew I had. I recently had a friend, and I listened to a church service, Stephen Furtick, who said, it has always been in you. It has always been in you. And I didn't know what that meant, but my friend of mine told me as well. Those gifts has always been in you. It just took being in a different place for God to bring them out of you. And what I would like to encourage people is, COVID may have set you back. It may have shattered many dreams. But there's a place that you can go or be removed to or shift to on your own and still fulfill the purpose in which you were created. I have become so much more than I ever thought I would. I'm living a life of purpose that I never thought I would. I never thought I would be an author. In fact, I tell people I struggled in school, so I didn't have the structure around me to be as successful student as I probably could have been, but I didn't have that structure around me. And so I never thought of the things that I have been able to accomplish. The basketball aspect of it, it was in me. But what I've discovered now is that there are greater gifts inside of me beyond the dream that I did not fulfill.
Coach, let's take a moment here. You gave us so much already, but I want to just take a moment and first of all, let's say hello to the people who are watching us on this show. Thank you so much. If you're watching us, thank you for giving us your hour. Drop us a line so we can see you. Otherwise, I won't be able to say hi to you. So drop us a line for sure and leave your comments and we'll read them. So this is really great. When you spoke of dream versus purpose, honestly, my thought did not go here. And I'm so glad, I'm so thankful for this talk because as always, I feel like there's a reason for every single talk.
Yes.
And so it's so important because it's so true. We live our lives and a lot of us have these dreams and our dreams are very important to us, and a lot of us go into extreme measures of actually visualizing our dreams, and it's like so precise, and the more precise it is, the more attached we get to those dreams. And so, and it's a possibility that something happens and that dream may not come true.
Beyond your control.
Beyond our control. And it's so important to grab onto that purpose and not worry about that dream. Oh my gosh, I so needed to hear this today. Never mind the viewers. I needed to hear this today.
I recently wrote an article. I'm a contributing writer for In the Limelight magazine with Clarissa Burt. And I recently wrote an article on dreams versus purpose, in which I shared a story about one of people's all-time favorite basketball players, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a young man who accomplished his dreams. He said he always wanted to be the best basketball player. He wanted to be better than Michael Jordan. And he did one heck of a job of doing that. But I think when people fell in love with Kobe Bryant was when he discovered his purpose. His purpose then became being a girl dad. His purpose became being a movie maker who won an Oscar. His businesses flourished, being a husband. And I tell people that even for those people, like I worked in the athletic world as an NBA agent. I didn't get to play in the NBA. So being an NBA agent, I worked with a lot of players. And the sad thing about, professional athletes is many of them leave the sport broker than when they came in, because of money mismanagement and the lifestyle they choose to live. And so many people accomplish dreams that other people would love to accomplish, but yet the dream does not bring the fulfillment of life. There are actors and entertainers that we see on television that have reached the pinnacle of their life in their trade, becoming a great actor, a great performer, an artist, and singers. And some even take their own lives with drugs and alcohol and what have you, because they have yet to discover the purpose for achieving or accomplishing the dream. My caution is to people, don't get stuck on the dream. Understand that there's purpose beyond the dream. Live your life of purpose. Like we talked about before, apply all the passion and work that it takes to achieve the goals and dreams that you have in your life. But you have to understand that there's purpose beyond every dream. Whether it's achieved dream, a failed dream, shattered dream, broken dream, or an accomplished dream, there's still purpose beyond the dream. So what I like to help people understand is get up. The dream didn't happen. There's still life to live. There's still a purpose for you. There's still something great out there that God can do in your life to impact and change this world and to make a mark on this world. Don't sit around and cry about the broken dream. I tell people that broken dreams are like a puzzle piece. They're just scattered. It can be put back together again. And it may look broken because you see the lines, but it's still a beautiful picture.
Thank you for that. It is beautiful. So I want to ask you, as we grow up, we all have dreams. We build those dreams. We think about those dreams. I think that's just what our parents, maybe, you know, they say, well, you know, what are you going to do when you grow up? So we all have these ideas in our own heads of these dreams, where we're going to live and how kind of house we're going to have, what kind of car we're going to drive, what kind of job we're going to have, right? What kind of, how many kids we're going to have. And so that we know. The purpose is not something that comes up too often. Nobody asks us why. Nobody says, why do you want all these things?
That's correct.
And so I think we're lacking a little bit of ambition, finding our purpose. So what do you suggest? What do we do about that?
So many people like the great Tony Robbins. If you take his class or heard any of the things that he says, and many other entrepreneurs that are speaking around the world, challenge everyone to discover your why. If you discover your why, you'll discover your superpower. Some people get stuck in the superpower of being super in the dream, but not understanding that the superpower is for a purpose. And I'll take you back to Spider-Man when his father died. And he went to the gravesite. And as the movie closed, it said, with great power comes great responsibility. What I think needs to happen is that we need to start helping people and kids and understand that there's a responsibility to the dream. It's not just easy enough to say you want to be rich. There are very unhappy people rich because they don't understand their purpose for why they are rich. There are unhappy people who grow up, they're kids who want to be a fireman, want to be a cop, but they don't tell you that California fire is going to spread miles and miles, and there will be treacherous days of wondering whether you'll even make it. But the purpose of it is that you would save lives, not just to wear a uniform. Obviously, in the time that we live in, we've seen the mismanagement of wearing the police uniform. The police uniform has power attached to it, but there's purpose for the power to serve and protect. You see, we get misguided by the position. Dreams gives us a platform or a position for us to live out our purpose. And if we fully grasp and understand that concept and how we can help educate people, especially young people, into understanding, man, I mean, I'm a coach. I still do training. I train kids all the time, and everyone has this dream of being a professional basketball player. Coach, I want to play professionally. What do I need to do? Well, of course, Dela, that word passion comes in. You have to be passionate about what you do. You have to love what you do. You have to dedicate yourself. You must commit yourself to it, right? You must train yourself. But in order to fulfill that goal or that dream that you have in your life, you must understand, you must train, you must be passionate, you must be driven, committed, and determined to fulfill the purpose as much as accomplish the dream. So that when the dream does not happen, or if it does happen, you're prepared for life.
Mm. Should we have dreams first or purpose first? What comes first?
Digging deep. That's
What comes first?
So here's what I think. This is Stephon Leary. This is from the mind and heart of Stephon Leary and through my life experiences. I believe we were all born with a purpose first. And I like to go back to my favorite little animal. Well, he didn't have the dream of being the king. His dad showed him what it was like to be a king. You see, as parents, teachers, coaches, we mimic and model what we want our kids to be every day. And then they grasp hold of what they would like to be. And so I believe what happens in life is that we have a purpose, a vision of what we would like for our life to look like. And then we place the dream, the platform, the job, or whatever that will help us be that which we have envisioned of being. For me, I wanted to be rich. I wanted to get out of the hood. So they told me that basketball players and football players and baseball, they make a lot of money. They didn't tell me they make a lot of money in every other thing. I probably would have wanted to be an engineer. You see, I was shaped by the fact of the outcome, but not necessarily what position that I would have. So I wanted to be rich, but I was shaped by the fact that an athlete was the way to go, or an entertainer. So I think that we have purpose. We first start sitting around thinking, man, I want to drive that nice car, right? And so it's up to parents, teachers, coaches, and those in authority and leadership and kids to help the kids understand what platforms, opportunity, jobs, and what all of those things can do to help facilitate that dream that you have. I like to go back to the scripture about Joseph. You see, Joseph told them that they would bow down to him. And Joseph told them, in a sense that he was, going to be bigger than they were. And that's why they didn't like it. What Joseph didn't tell them was, before I do that, I'm going to be thrown into a pit. I'm going to be sold off to slavery. I'm going to be accused of adultery with Potiphar's wife. I'm going to be thrown in jail. And all of that before I even get to the place of the dream. You see, what happens is we tell people about dream, but man, the journey to fulfilling and accomplish dreams is a tough journey. God has a purpose for the painful experiences of achieving the dream. And it's within that journey that we discover our purpose. So many people get discouraged along the way and they lose sight of who they are. Like my main man, Simba. He lost sight of who he was. He didn't even want to be acknowledged as a king. Being a king came with many responsibilities that he wasn't ready to do after he faced the adversity that he faced. And I think that happens to all of us. Mm-hmm. When we face difficult times in our lives, different challenges, they are in our lives to push us, to form us, to shape us, to grow us, to make us stronger for the journey. And many of us find ourselves discouraged and depressed, fearful, insecure about taking the next step to evolving into a fulfilling the purpose in which we were truly created.
Let's look at some of the comments, and I'm going to come back. Just so you know, our beautiful viewers who are watching this, if you're not dropping us a line, I won't see you, so I can't say hi. But I'll say hi to Sarah, Jay, and Frida, and Samane, and Babak. And Tammy says, great conversation that is driving me to much self-reflection. And it truly is. And so I want to ask you, so when you knew that your dream was to be a basketball player, at what point did you discover your purpose? That's what I want to know.
So after that second knee surgery, Dela, I started to think, I was, being adopted into this white family. I tell people my whole world was flipped upside down. I was really learning who Stephon Leary really was. I didn't know who I was because I wasn't shaped and formed into who I'd become as a child, which is why it's important that I'm stressing we need to be teaching our kids. So for me, after that second injury, my college coach told me, he said, in order to earn your scholarship, I want you to come into the office and I want you to help us serve as a student assistant coach and help us with game plan, offense, defense stuff. And I want to put you in charge of off-season workouts, lifting weights, and skill work. Did you hear what I just said?
Yes.
That's what I became. After my second surgery,
yes,
my college coach, I don't know if he did it intentionally, mistakenly, or whatever, he introduced me to my purpose. And I didn't know that that was my purpose when he did it, because I was still harboring a little bitterness, a little anger, a little resentment, yet also a little determination, a little passion that I was not going to let this injury keep me from playing professional basketball. And so when he said, put you in charge of training and strength development, I said, yes, I can use that time to get ready to go play. I didn't even see, I had blinders on. I didn't see that I was being introduced to my purpose. I only saw how it benefited me. Very critical point to what people need to understand. If you're truly looking to discover and find your purpose, it's going to take stepping outside of yourself and the way that you see yourself now, and open your mind and your eyes and your heart to being something that you never thought you would be. And so for Stephon Leary, I graduated. It was a great senior year in terms of I got strong, and I graduated and I went straight to the basketball court again. And I played in the Pro-Am summer leagues and everything. I wanted to show everybody I still got it. I want to be a professional athlete. And I had a game at a professional Pro-Am league where I scored 68 points. I hit 18 threes. And everybody was coming up to me, who are you? Where'd you go to school? Where'd you play ball? And an agent walked up to me and said, I'm an NBA agent. I like what I saw. Do you have anybody representing you? If not, I'd like to represent you. So this NBA agent became a very good friend of mine. He's still a friend today. And when I was in the agent business, I worked for him. But he gave me opportunity. He opened doors. He sent me to, the Rockets camp, the Spurs camp, the San Antonio Spurs. And he tried to get me with the Global League. The Globetrotters invited me to a tryout. All of those things were happening with basketball. And so I still was passionate about basketball and the dream. I was holding on to it till its very last breath. I went to the Spurs camp in San Antonio, and I had a couple of good days, and my knee flared up on me, and I couldn't go that next day. And they told me it's not going to work. Reality smacks me in the face again, and I realized for the first time, this basketball thing is over. And I went back to the place where I was reintroduced to my purpose. A church service, and the principal of the school that I went to, that when my parents adopted me, the school that I went to, the principal of that school saw me in church and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I just got through trying to play professional basketball, but now I'm trying to figure life out." And he told me, he said, "Well, what do you think about doing?" I said, I don't really know. Maybe something in basketball or something. I'm not sure. And he said, "Well, we have a job here that I'd like to talk to you about." And I said, "Okay, well, what is it?" He said, "I'd like to make you the athletic director, and I'd like for you to come and build our athletic program to the level in which it was when you were here. We won a national championship when I was in high school." And I said, "Okay, well," I sat down and I thought, I don't really know what this is. What is he talking about, athletic director? What is he talking about, being a coach of a... And then one thing came to my mind. My senior year, when I was injured, Coach brought me in and told me, "I want to put you in charge of skill development, strength training, and come into the office and learn how to run a program." I accepted the job. 27 years into it, I coached and I trained, and I was an athletic director on every level. So much so, I built my own business on it, and I ended up inventing a training and rehabilitation shoe. And so, in answering your question in a nutshell, I was introduced to my purpose, but I almost missed it because I was so caught up in the dream.
Yes. That does remind me of something, and I want to come back to it, but I want to read a comment. Sarah says, "My sons and I also play basketball." We have a comment from an Iranian viewer, and it's in Farsi, so I'm going to attempt to translate. So if you have a goal, you will get what you want if you believe that goal. I guess that dream. If you have a dream, you'll get to it if you believe it, just like you. So this is what I wanted to get to, is that, and I think every single Iranian can relate to this. As we grow up, our parents want us to become doctors. So
Man, I wish I had that.
Basketball player or doctor. So regardless of whether you like it or not, that is the dream that's dreamed up for you. And so from a small child, this is all you hear. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. And so and a lot of us don't become doctors because not everyone is supposed to become a doctor.
Just like basketball players. Can you believe that we want every basketball player to be a professional basketball player when only 1% make it? And I tell people all the time, 99% of you are going to fail. What are you going to do with life?
Yes. And that's exactly what I want to get to, because a lot of people, like you said, get so caught up in the dream that when that dream seems to vanish, so does their livelihood.
Yes. Sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's very sad. Unless you are lucky enough to open up your eyes to a purpose, or someone comes along and opens up your eyes to a purpose.
Yes.
So this is what I want from you, Coach, is, are there any steps for people to go through? Like, if someone's watching this and like, well, I don't know what my purpose is. I have a dream. I want to do this, but I don't know why. I don't know what my purpose is. Are there some questions that they can ask themselves? Are there some steps that they can go through, just to kind of start figuring out, okay, what is my purpose in life?
So I'll tell you the great news first.
Okay.
It's what I told you I learned just recently. I said it in a different way as a coach and a trainer growing up, but I've learned to say it for what it is. And this is what I would like for everyone to know. It's always been in you. You were born and gifted with the talents and the gifts to achieve a great purpose. It's in you. What I think is the most important step that everyone has to take, like I had to learn later in life, is to be willing to step outside of the person you always thought you would be. There are some people who wake up basketball, like take a LeBron James, born and gifted as a basketball player, but he was also made 6'9", 260 pounds, and he could dribble and shoot a ball. He discovered what his dream was, almost walked into it. But I know him personally enough to know that he's trying to now discover his purpose, which is why he's stepping out into social justice and things like that. It's very important that we first understand God created you with gifts and talents to be successful. Jeremiah 29:11 is very clear. It's a very clear verse that I tell people all the time. God has a purpose and a plan for you. A plan to prosper you, to give you a hope, to give you a future, and not to harm you. If you would first embrace and understand, no matter where you are in life, no matter what dreams have been broken, what failure has come your way, God has a purpose and a plan for your life. That is the number one thing you must understand. It's always been in you. He has a purpose for you. The second thing that I think it is important for you to do is to embrace or try and discover and find the gifts that make you who you are. For me, I always studied. My players have told me that I always read and studied. I would share something with them. Hey, I read this book. Here's a principle for you to apply to life. And it's funny to me that I did that as a coach to motivate my players, but it became who I am. There's a purpose. Part of your purpose is the little things that you do day to day that inspire you, that give you passion, that gives you hope. It's that little thing inside of you that makes you smile, eager, happy. There's something in every one of us that makes us feel good about who we are. For some people, it's just to serve. Some people have a heart of service. Some people have a heart to love. Within that little thing that gives you great sense of security and happiness and joy, you'll discover your purpose. And the last thing that I would say to someone who's trying to find their purpose is, when you grew up as a child, you always thought about being something. Life sometimes suppresses the greatness of who you were meant to be with the pain that you experience in life. There's purpose in the pain and beyond the pain.
Mm.
Sometimes you have to uncover or roll over a rock to find life's most precious jewels. There's greatness inside of every one of us, and sometimes it's covered by pain. Look into the pain, look beyond the pain, and know that there's purpose beyond that pain. I wrote these books. It was probably the most painful thing I've ever done because it revealed all of the hurt and pain that I had experienced in my life.
Yeah.
There's purpose in the pain and beyond the pain.
So this is the name of Coach Leary's book, The Elevated Soul. You are more than what you see. And you said it's almost
it's in launch mode now. I am working on my first edits. I think I told you it's being published by TVN, the television Christian television network. Yeah. And so it's almost done. And there's a chapter in the book called Dreams versus Purpose.
Yes. There was a couple of comments, and I'm going to read those. Sarah says, how do you feel when you help your team, I guess she means team players in a team sport, and you succeed?
So listen, the most exciting thing for me was not the win. The win I didn't care about. The most exciting thing for me was seeing one of my players be successful at something they thought they never could do. When they make that shot that they never thought they could make, that gave me the joy and jubilation of a lifetime. Those probably are the most cherishable moments that I will remember in being a coach. Not the wins. It was always seeing that kid finally do something that they thought they never could do.
That's the purpose. That's what keeps you going.
That's what drives me. That's what motivates me. I switched from coaching in basketball to now trying to help people understand principles in life that will perhaps help them do something you never thought you could do. Mm-hmm. God has a tremendous purpose for everyone. And man, when I see that happen, that gives me the greatest sense of joy.
And that's beautiful. Sarah says, do you feel happier in social work? So I think you just answered that.
Yeah.
You just answered that.
I had there's another chapter in the book. I had an experience. I took a job one summer working for a place called Behavioral Training and Research Center. One of the most precious lessons that I learned in life came from a young man who was about 5'11", 350 pounds. He was in the home because of the pain of his life. And we started a program, a transition program. This kid would blow up all the time, and he was so angry and so bitter. He would bite himself every time he gets angry. And I told him, I said, hey, Big John, we're starting a transition program where, remember, I told you all the stories about going to basketball games and movies and that. And he said, yeah. Can I go? And I said, okay, John. Listen, John, you have got to do what I'm asking you to do and have the kind of behavior that they will allow for me to take you. And he grabs me 6'5", 11, 300 pounds, and squeezes to me, and he's like, I'll be good. I'll be good. I'll be good. I promise I'll be good. And Big John brings a tear to my eyes, taught me a valuable lesson. Big John did what he was supposed to do. And I got to take Big John to basketball games, football games, movies, church, everything. Big John taught me a lesson about meeting people where they are. John just needed to be loved and to know that someone cared about him. And he did what he was supposed to do. He changed my life and helped me understand what pouring into people really was all about.
You're paying
That's also in the book.
That's also in the book. We're gonna get that book, The Elevated Soul. You are more than what you see. Simonis says you have a big soul, and I agree. What happened to you when you were a young kid, and your coach taking you to that camp and allowing you to be a part of that, and then I think it was Pistol Green, who had that talk with you, and all these people saw in you something bigger than you had seen in yourself. And
it's always been in you.
Yes, it's always been
in you.
Yes.
Somebody just had to pull it out.
Yeah.
It's always been in you.
But so what I'm getting at is you took that and now you're paying it forward. Oh my gosh, I don't know, 1,000 folds, because you're helping all these other kids who don't believe in themselves. Or they don't see that there's more to them that the eye can see. And wow, what a gift. That is truly that is truly a purpose in life. And so there you go. So it doesn't matter how you do it, and it doesn't matter in what role you do it, as long as you do this, as long as you live this purpose.
So Dela, you wanna hear something that I struggle with?
What's that,
This is
Coach?
transparency, right?
Yes.
Ask me what my title is right now.
What is your title, Coach?
I don't have one.
No title.
So we live our lives for titles. We live our lives for wanting to be associated with something. And I laugh at myself. I talk to my friends and my parents, and I say, you know what? I don't even really have a job right now. So from the outside looking in, people say, hey, you're this, you're that, you're this. And I look at myself and say, I don't even have a job right now. And one reason why I say that in transparency is to help people understand that pursuance of a dream, it may give you a title, it may give you a position, it may give you a platform, but your purpose will be lived out without a title. When you touch the heart of people through whatever means you choose, Dela, what's your title? You're just doing a talk show every Sunday to help motivate people and bring stories to life to share with the world. It doesn't come with a title, but it is your purpose. You discover your purpose in being who God has called you to be by doing what God has called you to do.
Doing the work. Boak says, when I was a child, I wanted to become a king. Didn't achieve that goal yet, mainly because no king wants to give his kingdom to me. One day I have to create my kingdom. Any comments?
Be a king in your own home. Be a king in your own life. See, being a king may not come with a crown that you think, but someone may crown you as a king because of what you do for them.
I crown you, Babak, the king,
Yes.
the king of your own kingdom.
That's
And
right.
here's what I know
That's
about
right.
Babak is Babak has this heart of gold.
Mm-hmm.
He's always trying to help people. Like he's always trying to get the message out. He's so generous with his comments, and he's so generous with just trying to propagate the positive message. Babak, you already a king.
You're a king.
You're a king.
I would like to say to him this. It's on the screen. You are more than what you see. You are a king.
I love it. He says, I love it. I love it too. I love it too. Wow. What's next for you, Stephon Leary? Oh, never mind that question. Let me ask you this question. Okay, you say you have no title. And this is the question I wanted to ask actually originally was this. Who is Stephon Leary?
Stephon Leary is a servant. I really have just reduced my life to just wanting to serve and help people on whatever platform God gives me. That's who I am.
Whether that's writing your books, whether that's inventing these super cool boots that help people rehabilitate.
Whether that's talking to you, whether that's talking to friends, family, or, taking a couple of hours out of my day to do some training with some of my former athletes. I just want to serve in whatever capacity that God puts before me. And I believe what happens when you have that attitude, it's actually a scriptural principle. It said, let he who wants to be first among us, let him first serve.
To serve is to deserve. That's what I heard.
Reciprocation.
Yes.
Reciprocation.
Yes. Service is a big purpose.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And sometimes we get so focused on that end game.
Yes, the outcome.
The outcome.
If you focus more on process. See, I tell people when shooting, right? I was a pretty good basketball shooter. I still can probably beat most of my athletes. They can all attest to that. If any of them are watching, they'll say, yeah, I can still shoot it. But what I always tell them, and what I told that kid who thought they couldn't make a shot, stop focusing on the outcome and enjoy the process. If you enjoy the process, the outcome take care of itself. So lock that elbow, lift that wrist, shoot that ball through, swish. That process leads to the outcome. Enjoy your process. Embrace your process.
That's a great analogy. And that's life.
That's life.
That's life.
I want to share something with you. In this book that I wrote, there's a great quote. There's a great poem. It's very popular. Many people may have read it before, but it's a poem by Langston Hughes, and he writes in this poem something about dreams. And he says, "What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Does it fester like a sore and then run off? Or is the dream still there, but your purpose is ahead?
Ooh.
The dream doesn't dry up. It doesn't fester like a sore. It doesn't run away. It all leads you to your purpose, if you allow it.
That's so good. That's so good.
It's in the book.
Wow.
That was a heavy one for me too, because I always lived my life thinking my dream dried up. I always lived it thinking it deferred. It didn't want me like I wanted it. I always thought it ran away from me. But I found out that it led me into my purpose. Embrace your dream your dreams, but understand there's purpose beyond the dream.
The purpose will get us there. Even if that dream is not exactly the way we had imagined it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so finding our purpose and living our lives aligned with our purpose,
yes,
will eventually lead us to our dreams.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is so good.
I tell people all the time, I say, hey, you want to be that great basketball player if you just find your purpose. Because your purpose requires the same thing that the dream does, but it gives you more fulfillment beyond the dream. It's really all that it is.
And more power.
And more power. And more strength. More determination.
Yes.
It gives you everything that the dream would give you, except for when you don't have the dream, you don't have to feel less than. You don't have to feel like you're not accomplished. You don't have to feel like a failure. You are more than what you see if you live that life of purpose. It's the elevated soul, a life of purpose beyond the dream.
Here's Coach Larry's website, CoachStephonLarry.com. You can find out all about his books and his services and everything about Coach Larry. If you want to connect to Coach Larry, you can do that through the website. Look out for the book, The Elevated
Look for that book, and I've already got seeds planted in me for book number 3. Number 3, who would have ever thought?
Hey, you're on a roll. Okay, so this is what I want to also mention, because we talked about this. Here's this guy whose ultimate dream was to become an NBA basketball player. And here he is, living his purpose, his true purpose, through writing books.
Truly humbling. Truly, truly humbling. I would have never thought or imagined there was truly purpose beyond my dreams. And book number 3, even more exciting. I shared a little bit with you. I'll tell the audience, look out for it. Mountains and valleys. You must go down to get back up.
I'm already excited about this. I know this is going to be another talk on Dela's voice. I mean, I'm holding you to that.
I'm here always. I enjoy talking to you. I love your spirit. I love what you do. I commend you. I admire you, respect you, and I bless you as you continue to go forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Leary.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I wish you the very best in all of your endeavors. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for shining your light.
Thank you.
To light up the path for others. It's truly a blessing to know you. I want to thank you, and I want to thank everyone who's been watching us today for giving us your time, your
Yes, thank
comments.
you.
Yes, your comments were truly appreciated. Thank you for the love, and want to wish you the best rest of your Sunday today.
Yes.
Have a blessed day. Coach Larry, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Take
God bless
care,
you.
everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.